Hi, and welcome to the Nature Sacred Guides Nature in Place series. I'm Kirsten Barbera, the School Program Manager here at the Annapolis Maritime Museum and Park. And today, I'm going to be your guide as we learn a little bit more about trail cameras and how they can help us to discover more about the hidden world around us. Here at AMM, we're really excited to be able to partner with Nature Sacred because their mission of helping communities to create public green spaces and therefore increase access to the healing power of nature really aligns with our mission here at AMM of educating youth and adults about the Annapolis area's rich maritime heritage, but also about the ecology of the Chesapeake Bay. Like I said, today we're going to explore trail cameras, and these are really fun to use, but they're also a really valuable tool for scientists. The way that trail cameras work is you can see it's kind of camouflaged, so it blends in with its environment, and it also has some motion sensors and some infrared lighting. This allows it to detect motion and to take photos or videos during the day and at night with its infrared light. This is really helpful because for personal enjoyment and for scientists, a lot of animals, even if they're common, are kind of hard to see. Sometimes it's because they come out at night when we're not really active, or even if we come outside, it's hard for us to see. Sometimes it's just because they're shy. If they see a human around, they're gonna run away, they're gonna be elusive. A trail cam eliminates the human presence. By setting it up and walking away, you remove yourself from the equation and you allow the animals to act more naturally than they would if you were there. This is really fun because it helps us to see animals that we might not otherwise get to see. You'll see some videos of some baby animals at the park that normally are really shy, right? Or their mother or a parent is really shy and keeps you from seeing, but you get to see on the trail cam. It's also really helpful, like I said, for scientists, especially when studying endangered species that might be rare, because it helps them to gather valuable population and behavior data using their photos and their videos. When you're setting up a trail cam, there are a couple things to keep in mind. The first is that you want to pick a site where you think you might be able to find animals. Here at our park campus off of Edgewood Road, we have a lot of different spots, and we know that we have certain animals here on property. But thinking about a particular place to set up the camera, I ended up coming up here to our pond, and there were a few reasons for that. The first is that as a source of fresh water, I thought that many animals might be coming up here to take a drink. And when I scoped out the site, there were also a lot of signs of wildlife. So I saw some fox scat, and we know that we have resident foxes here, but that showed us that maybe they're actually coming up here to take a drink. I saw some ducks swimming. You might be able to hear behind me. We have some frogs calling and some insects calling. So it seems like a really, really active place. So that's the first step. The next step is that you need to find a tree to attach your trail cam to, and that is facing where you want to take your photos and videos. There's a strap that's attached, and we also use a cable lock just to make sure that the camera doesn't go walking, and that's where you set up your trail cam. Now, something that I didn't know when I first started using trail cameras, and I had to learn the hard way, is not to set up your camera in front of or behind some vegetation. At first, it seems like a good idea because you want it to be camouflaged, right? You don't want the animals to be able to see it. But remember, this has a motion sensor. So what's going to end up happening is you're going to set up your camera and the wind's going to blow and that branch is going to move and you're going to get a bunch of photos and videos of nothing. So try and avoid that. You're probably still going to end up with a bunch of photos and videos of nothing, even if you set it up right. And that's okay. It's still worth it to sort through those photos and videos of nothing because the ones that do have animals on them are really cool. And like I said, they can provide valuable data. Once you set up your camera, you're going to open it up, and the models that you can have vary a lot. So you're going to have to look at the manual on your specific camera, and then you're going to mess around with the settings. You can tell it to take photos or videos or both, and you can also usually tell it to use motion detect or time lapse or both. Another thing that I had to learn the hard way is often if it's doing motion detect and time lapse, it's not doing both at once. So it's doing time-lapse in the time period that you set it up for. So maybe it takes a photo every 30 minutes between 2 p.m. and 10 p.m. And then outside of that window, it will take a photo when it senses motion. But it's not going to take a photo when it senses motion within that time period. So that's something to consider. But again, you're going to have to check your model to find out. Once you play around with their settings and you think you're happy, you can go ahead and close your camera, but it's always a good idea to take a test photo or two. So maybe walk in front of your camera, wave hello, and then open it up and see what you found to make sure that your camera is pointing where you think it is pointing. Like I said, there's a wide variety of models, so you have to pay attention on yours if you buy one. Obviously, some of these are very expensive, but some of them are actually very affordable. This one was less than $50, so they're very, very accessible. Once you set it up, you're going to leave it, and you need to leave it for a little bit of time, right? An hour is probably not going to find you enough stuff, but you can leave it for a few days, and when you come back, you can access the memory card in your trail cam. You can view some videos on the camera itself, but the best way to view it is to take the memory card out or use the cable to attach it to your computer, and that way you can see the photos and videos at their highest quality. We've gone ahead and attached some videos of some of the wildlife we've seen at the park, including some baby animals. So we do know that we have a active groundhog burrow and a fox den here on our property, and so some of our videos are from near those, and some of them are from the pond. So I really hope that you enjoy seeing those animals. And whether or not you decide to go and buy a trail cam for yourself, because it could be really fun to see what wildlife live in your backyard, either way, I hope that you enjoyed learning a little bit more about them and how useful they are and how fun they can be. I also hope that you visit us here at our park campus off of Edgewood Road. It is a public park, and we'd love for you to stop by and maybe see if you can spot some of our wildlife. And I also hope that you go to naturesacred.org to view more in this Nature in Place series and to learn more about how you can harness the healing power of nature. Thanks, and I hope I'll see you soon.